What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we have the Complete Duality Dungeon Guide, showcasing every single mechanic for every single encounter so you can beat this new activity and get that hot new loot. Of course, guys, beating a dungeon as quickly as possible and then making a full guide was quite the undertaking. If you do enjoy this video, please remember to support it by liking and especially sharing. And hey, if I can teach you a whole dungeon, I can teach you more stuff too, so make sure to hit subscribe. Alright, now let's get started here with, actually not the dungeon. The first thing you're going to need to do to gain access is go to the tower and talk to Hawthorne. She's going to have a quest available to then start this dungeon activity. It should be noted that you need to have the Witch Queen Deluxe Edition, or there's a separate dungeon pass in order to access this content. Buying Season of the Haunted has nothing to do with this dungeon. I know, it's a little weird. Alright, but after loading up this dungeon, you're going to get some dialogue, drop down this hole, and then you end up right here. There's a grate blocking your way. Now from here, you can actually look across the room, and there's an object that you can deal damage to. You want to shoot this object. I'm going to refer to this now as a bell, and this is going to be a very common mechanic throughout this entire dungeon. Once you do enough damage to this bell, you're going to be teleported to the Nightmare Realm. So you can see there's a similar layout, but that grate is not there. So then you simply run across to a new bell. Now this is very important. When you're in the normal realm, you can shoot a bell from anywhere and teleport to the Nightmare Realm, no problem, regardless of where you are. But to get back from the Nightmare Realm to the normal realm, you again have to shoot the bell, but as you can see, you have to be standing exactly on this location. So my teammate and I were a little bit outside of the circle near the bell, and as you can see, we died and my one teammate inside the circle lived. So that's how you have to get back out of the Nightmare Realm. Stand in that circle right beside the bell. Now at this point, you simply need to traverse your way through this arena. So you're going to climb upwards, and eventually once you scale high enough, you're going to see another bell far away past a grate. So you teleport to the Nightmare Realm, and as you can see, the grate's not there anymore. So you head over there, teleport back via the bell, then you continue moving forward through this arena, and what you're doing is just using the bells to teleport to the alternate dimension to kind of make your way past blocked objects and all of that stuff, and then when you find the next bell in the nightmare region, you teleport back. So simple as that, making your way all the way to eventually the first encounter of this dungeon.
Just here. On core bearer, so we're probably just gonna have to dunk cores again.
Rally.
So you are going to have a rally flag, and then you're essentially going to have 4 different corners of this arena. Each corner has a symbol. So you can see one corner has dogs, one has axes, one has sun, and then one has cup. Additionally, there are 2 bells on opposite sides of this arena. So rally up and you start the encounter by hitting that first bell. Then you're going to be teleported to this area. You're going to see this big nightmare boss here, and this guy is completely immune. Now, what you need to do is make your way to the far side of this arena, and as you can see, you have these special enemies, and these are going to come up throughout the entire dungeon. They're called Bell Keepers. So you have to kill these 2 enemies before the bell is available to shoot. So you run up here, you kill these 2 guys, and then the bell on the opposite side of the arena is then available to shoot and teleport you back to the other dimension. But while you're up here, you need to get those standards with those different symbols you just saw in the previous dimension. So then you go after another important enemy called the Standard Bearer. You kill this yellow bar scion, and as you can see, then a standard essence is going to spawn. You pick that up, and then you need to make your way back to that bell that is now available to ring because you killed the bell keepers. stand next to it, shoot it, and boom, you're back in the original dimension. From this point, kill the ads, especially make sure to kill the bell keepers so you're able to travel back to the nightmare dimension, and then you want to plant your standard on the corresponding symbol. So I picked up chalice, I'm going to go to the chalice cup symbol and plant it there. Now importantly, when I do, the door next to this symbol is going to open up. So what you need to do is make your way inside this door, because that door is going to be closed in the nightmare dimension, so you need to gain access to it through this dimension, and once you're inside that new room that just opened up, then you or someone else shoots that bell and teleports you into the nightmare dimension. Now once you're here, you're going to see a bunch of different versions of the boss, but they are available to damage, and they're actually pretty easy to kill. So you want to kill all these guys as quickly as possible and kind of make your way down to the other side of this room, and that door is going to be open. Once you kill all of these like mini nightmares, you make your way outside, as you can see, and then the big boss is going to be available to damage. But the whole time you're in the nightmare dimension, you have the nightmare collapsing debuff with a timer on the left corner of your screen. Guys, you have to pay a lot of attention to this timer, because if it reaches 0 and you're still in the nightmare dimension, you will die. So that means you only have a limited amount of time to damage this boss. Honestly, swords worked great. We probably could have one-phased him right here if my teammates had a little bit more of a backbone and didn't try to get away, but I digress. Again, once the timer is getting close to 0, you do have to make your escape, go to a bell, and that does mean you will have to have killed the bell keepers. So it might be a smart idea before you even start damaging the boss, kill the bell keepers just in case. Do a bunch of DPS, then, oh no, we've got 10 seconds, run over to the bell, shoot it, and you do that whole mechanic over again. You're gonna have to kill the bell keepers, go to the nightmare dimension, grab the different standards, implant them in the corresponding symbols, go into the alternate rooms, teleport back to the nightmare dimension, kill the mini versions of the boss, come out, DPS the big boss. There you have the first encounter. Alright, now moving on from there, you do have a bit of a jumping puzzle. Simply follow the route you can see in the background gameplay. Keep in mind you're going to have to find these activatable objects that are going to make these different things slide out so that you can jump on them and then make your way across this chasm.
Okay.
Until eventually you get to this open area right here. Drop down here, apparently jump just before the end because apparently you'll just get killed. But you're going to keep making your way forward. You will have to kill enemies as you go forward. Eventually, you're going to make this big long jump, go down this kind of tunnel right here, and make your way to this big open area right here. By the way, there is going to be a hidden dungeon chest. As you can see, head in this door right here and collect that. Now, when it comes to this area, it's kind of a mini encounter. It's actually a puzzle encounter. So what you're going to need to do is look at the direction of all of the different statues. Essentially, you need to line them all up so that they're all facing the very center of this arena. So when you teleport into the nightmare dimension, you can see they are all facing the center. However, at the back of these statues, they actually have objects you can activate and they will rotate, and that rotation is actually the same rotation that the statues will make in the alternate dimension. So as you can see, we play around with it, we go back to the other dimension, and the statues are facing all these different directions. So you pay attention to one statue. A good idea is to go next to one statue, see where it's facing. So if it's facing to the right, I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees 3 times. So then it's going to face the back, then it's going to face the left, and then it's going to face the center. So again, pick a statue, note the direction, then shoot the bell and teleport into the nightmare dimension. activate the object for the amount of 90-degree turns that are necessary to get the statue to face directly the center, and then once that's done, you teleport back, and eventually, once you have correctly aligned all of these statues, as you can see, underneath the middle area is going to open up and drop you down into the next encounter. Alright, so as for the second main encounter, what you need to do is, firstly, there's going to be a ton of enemies that spawn. You do want to spend some time ad clearing, especially killing those bell keepers, because you do need access to those bells for what we're going to do next. Now, once those guys are dead, then you want to look in the middle of this arena. You can actually see different symbols present here, and there's only going to be 2 of the possible 4 symbols being displayed. So in this example, we have cup and sun. Then what you need to do is essentially go to one of the different offshoots from the center platform. And as you can see on the back of these kind of walls here, you can actually see pictures of the symbols. Essentially, when you transport into the nightmare dimension, there's going to be a passageway you can take from this offshoot. So I'm standing next to this sun symbol. Sun is one of these symbols in the middle of the arena. I want sun. So I'm gonna stand right here, and then someone's gonna teleport to the nightmare dimension. As you can see, boom. Now right behind me, where there was a wall, there's a stairway. So I make my way up this stairway, and then I kill a bunch of enemies. I kill this big yellow bar at the very back, and what's going to happen is when I've killed all the enemies in this area, then we have the standard bearer that spawns. I kill this guy, and he's going to drop the correct standard I'm looking for. Importantly, if you do this wrong, so if I would have gone to the wrong symbol and killed the wrong standard bearer, you actually lose a big chunk of time for your nightmare collapsing. So you'll have 40 seconds, you kill the wrong standard bearer, and then you're down to like 30-25. So you really want to avoid that. But once you kill the right standard bearer and pick up that standard, then you want to make your way back to the middle of the arena, and one of the bells is going to be up, available to teleport back in. Now remember, during this time when you're going off to kill the standard, there are going to be some bell keepers that you need to deal with. So you can go off to the 2 locations to get the standards and then come back as a team, kill the bell keepers, and then go to the bell, or 2 guys go off to the standard bearer, 1 guy stays behind, focuses on clearing ads and killing the bell keepers, etc. But again, every time you're going to make these teleportation jumps to a different dimension, there's almost always bell keepers involved, so just be aware of that. But once you teleport back to this normal dimension after you've gotten the right standards, you simply plant them where they're glowing in the center of the arena. Once you do, the nightmare boss that was previously immune, well, he's now available to damage, so find that guy and absolutely goink him. Swords are, again, pretty darn good for this. Once you kill that boss, then another version of that same boss is going to spawn. You have 2 different symbols now displaying, and so you have to do the exact same thing. So in this scenario, dogs and axes are the symbols displaying. You go to the different offshoots, you find the right symbol. So I went and found axes, so I'm like, all right, I'm good to go. Someone's got to go find the dog's symbol, and then you teleport dimensions and do the exact same thing. Kill all of the guys up the stairs, kill the standard bearer, grab the standard, head back to the other dimension, and plant those symbols. Now, once you do plant the symbols again, the boss is going to be available to damage him again, and once you kill him, guess what? You have to do the same thing again, and once you've done that very same thing again, the final boss will be available to damage. Then just kill this guy, and that will end the encounter, and you can get your loot. Now, it should be noted, if you pick up a standard and you die, you will lose that standard. However, you will have a chance to simply go back into the nightmare dimension. So, let's say that happens. One guy loses his standard, the other guy still has it, you teleport back, the one guy plants it, and then there's still going to be 1 symbol up, the one that you missed when you died. You just have to go back and go after that 1 symbol, teleport back, plant that symbol, and then you can DPS the boss. So this is going to come up in pretty much all of the encounters, but generally, if you do miss one of the symbols, you're going to have an extra chance to go in and pick that one up. So just keep that in mind as well. Okay, so moving on from there, we have another pretty substantial jumping puzzle, which again involves shooting the different bells and making your way past those grates and through those alternate routes that aren't available in the other dimension. So simply follow the route you can see me take on screen right here.
Yeah. Stompies barely
Oh,
gets
Stompy
jumps.
made, bro. You're winning it. Is this not a boss? No, it's not.
Bell away.
So we have to go to the roof of this one or that one. Oh shit.
Oh, no.
It's a little base. Right, right.
And it will eventually lead you to the place you need to go, which is going to be this kind of large doorway that you can see right here. Now, once you do eventually make your way through that doorway, you're going to have to jump some more. Simply, follow the different offshoots from this giant chasm and make your way forward until eventually you drop down another chute and enter the final encounter. And this one is a bit of a doozy. The same mechanics are going to come up in general, but there's going to be a lot of enemies present. So honestly, putting stuff on like the Gahlran that can not only be used to damage the boss, but is also fantastic at ad clearing is probably the play. It is very easy to get overwhelmed by the amount of ads that are spawning, especially in this dimension, and the Nightmare dimension as well can be pretty tough. So just make sure you're on top of that ad clearing. But around this arena, as you can see, there's going to be two symbols that are glowing. Obviously, again, you want the corresponding symbols, but what you need to do to get them is to look around the arena where the snipers actually spawn. You can see symbols right above these areas. So you want to jump on to these areas with the corresponding symbols. So if you see dogs, you jump onto the little platform where the sniper was that has the dog symbol, and then you teleport into the alternate dimension. And right when you do, there's going to be a standard bearer like right in front of you. Kill that guy and he's going to drop whatever, symbol he's assigned to. And normally, this is what is going to happen. You look for the two symbols, you go to the corresponding sniper locations, you teleport, and the standard bearer is right in front of you. You kill that guy, you grab the symbol, everything's good. Sometimes, however, and we don't know why, but you teleport to like the beginning area of this arena, so it doesn't teleport you where you were standing. So you may have to kind of memorize, okay, I remember that cups are back left, you know what I mean? Based on the perspective of where you entered this arena. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you guys, but just be aware sometimes it does teleport you in, not where you were, and that can cause some problems. In any event, once you do collect the correct standards, you need to kill the two bell keepers that are located here. Now, keep in mind, these are pretty much the only guys you need to kill. You can leave those big colossuses alive if you want to. Then you activate the bell, teleport back to the other dimension, and plant your standard on the corresponding symbols. So that's 2 out of 4 of what you need. Then 2 more symbols will appear on the 2 opposite spots, and then you go back in and collect those 2 symbols. Then do the same thing as you previously did, collect the standards, kill the bell keepers, teleport back, then you plant those last 2 symbols. Once you've planted 4 symbols, you're actually going to see this giant kind of gong becomes available to use. So you can actually damage the glowing red parts of the chain, as you can see right here, and when you do, then this giant object smashes this big bell, this big gong, and then the Nightmare of Caiatl is going to teleport you into the Nightmare dimension. So you don't need to shoot a bell, you're going to automatically teleport into here, and she's going to be available to damage. But you're going to notice, wait a minute, I'm doing like no damage at all. And then she's just going to walk over to a bell and teleport out, and you have just done a damage phase with, as you can see, pathetic damage. Well, that's because there are some more mechanics that you have to know about inside that encounter. So when that happens, what you actually need to do is look where she's headed. Then you need to kill the bell keepers, and frankly, it's a good idea to kill all 6 bell keepers right off the bat with Gahlrans, but you need to make sure that the bell keepers of the bell where she's headed are dead so that you can activate that bell. Then, specifically, you need to wait until she's close to that bell, shoot it, it's going to close, and as you can see, it's going to stun her. Alright, that's a great way to extend the damage phase, but you're probably still going to be doing like no damage. So it turns out what you actually need to do is be in that circle of the bell. The same circle that you would need to stand in to teleport outside of the nightmare dimension. So everyone stands in here, she gets close, you shoot it, it stuns her, and then you're actually going to get a special buff called Waking Resonance that's going to last for a few seconds. When this buff is active, then you can actually do some reasonable damage to this boss here. So again, lure her to a bell, but make sure you're right next to that bell. Activate it, snap it shut on her, stun her, and then get that Waking Resonance buff to actually do some damage. And so guys, there you have it. If you don't do enough damage to kill her, you simply do all of that process again. So you teleport in, you get the right standards, you plant them on the symbols, you do that whole thing again. Once all 4 symbols are planted, you shoot the object to smash the giant bell, teleport in, snap the bells shut before the boss gets there, DPS her, and again, keep doing that process until she's dead. And congratulations, you've just beat the Duality Dungeon. Hopefully you guys aren't cursed with literally all armor drops like I was. That is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus, that is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.